Well, we meet again for another daily tarot reading with Mysterious Self-Transformation. Today, I began to really notice that it's gotten pretty chilly out, and that would probably explain why I've been feeling a little bit on the depressed side over the last few days. I do tend to start feeling a bit more tired, a bit more lethargic, sluggish, hibernation-y as we move into the winter months. And that's been something that I've known about for a while, but haven't really done a whole lot with or about in the past. So I've decided to see what maybe I should do this year. This has been a pretty transformative year, actually, particularly the last few months. End up divorce, losing a job, starting to get my tarot work a bit more open to everyone. New relationships and one in particular, and just a lot of things happening. So why not change how I handle the winter blues as they come upon me? And who better to ask than what has become quickly my favorite tarot deck to use, the Black Flame Tarot. So what did it tell me? Well, I'll mention to start with, we see all but one suit, which I find interesting, mainly because the suit missing, the swords, has been my focal point in life for a long time. Long before tarot was my focal point. The intellect, the mind, the thinking and analyzing and processing. And I think the cards have in mind that maybe, for me, I need to not disregard that entirely, surely not, but I need to pay some pretty close attention to developing other areas of the self. And you may find this true as well, although maybe not the logical, rational side. Maybe an individual needs to pay a little bit less attention to their relationships, the cups, and more attention to thought or creativity or their, environment, whatever. But as for this reading, I would say that has been very clear. It doesn't seem to give a preference to one or the other. We've got just one of each of the other suits. And real quickly, I'd like to look at those, and not in a particular order. I don't think that, this doesn't hold a past, present, future configuration. This just holds several things to think about right now, meaning. And so, the card that I've been seeing a few times recently, the Three of Pentagrams, continuing so we've already started, we've already become aware, we've already taken in a lot of information about the effects that we can have on our environments internally and externally. Now we need to continue to grow in that regard and experiment and see what we can do to influence those things and how those influences influence each other and ourselves and so forth. We can also start to pay more attention to the creative aspect of life. Not just in theory, not just thinking about it, but bringing things into being, actually working to do things. I spent a lot of time thinking about how I wanted to start doing tarot, and eventually I would, and for years eventually I would. until finally I did. You have to, at some point go from the theoretical to the actual doing, because you'll never feel ready to do that creative thing. You never know enough. So get started and learn along the way. And finally, relationships. And as I've said many times before, but it still bears repeating, relationships with different aspects of the self and relationships with others, romantic and otherwise. This has particularly clear meaning for me as I move out of something dreary and dark and into new direction. This may, in this position actually, give some insight as well. I think this, as she looks in this direction toward these other two things, that may give a clue, in fact I think it does, as to how to begin working more seriously in this aspect of life, well, by influencing the surroundings, by looking within and working within, as well as creativity. You don't want to become a bore in a relationship of any kind, or suddenly it doesn't seem that interesting and worth pursuing anymore. So I think these actually play a great role in not only balancing the absence suit, but helping to advance this other suit as well. So just want to take a moment to say that this has been a really great example of a reading for my present inquiry and circumstances. I hope that it resonates with some of you, but the technique hopefully makes sense. I've always find it interesting to see how the cards play together, and I don't always see that until I've spent a little time really looking at it. But don't just try not to just look at them and say, okay, this one and this one and then this one. See what they can do with each other and how they can work together. And finally, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You'll get updates. I will continue to work to make these at least more regular than they were over the last few weeks, and hopefully more so in the coming days and weeks. Also, don't hesitate to contact me with questions or to set up a reading. These can work to become very insightful. Got a lot of positive reviews from people who've done them with me, and several requests for additional consults. So feel free to contact me at the social media links that I'll have posted at the bottom, and follow me there as well. When I don't have videos, I generally do have some kind of posts throughout the day for your interest and insight. So keep transforming, and I will see you next time.